Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful morning. It is April 1st, 2025, the day before Liberation Day. And like we talked about last night, we are going to be coming into a lot of rumors and a lot of details. Talked about last night on the trade deal. So last night, yesterday, everybody was talking about the confusing nature. Maybe there'll be more, maybe there'll be less. This morning, there is a Washington Post article talking about universal 20% tariffs. Again, last night we were talking about blanket tariffs and the VATs and all of those factors, and right away we are already getting that. So you're down a little bit, you kind of recovered, bonds are already moving, you're going to hear a lot of back and forth. Then there's not much earnings, but some people are talking about this season coming up. But when it is all said and done, my friends, this is now the final step ahead of the announcement tomorrow. So we're going to hear from all over. We also got ISM manufacturing. That's another big set of data. We're going to get that right off the morning. Literally, I think like 30 minutes after the bell. And then that should drive everything. So, Chattadonia, I hope you're ready for it. And welcome to a new month in a new quarter. I know you have already gone through 3 months of 2025. So, good morning, baby. What do you say? Joey, Gunnar, Gus, Gonzo, Tim Whitman, baby. Good morning. Mark J. Anza, Deco, Laker, J. Good morning, baby. What up, Regal? What up, Mr. Franklin, Dr. James Cash, Kurt McGart, Donkey, Andre, Enrico, Tyree, Hot Water, Preacher, King Kong, Chloe, baby. What's going on? Misa, Jennifer, Bruda, Sahil. Let's go, Mount Goya. What up, TJ? What up, Gravy Bone? Yay! Oh, my goodness. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. What up, Rodney? C-Rod, baby. JMI, Benny Silverio, baby. Good morning. Proud black conservative. What up, baby? What up, Matt? How you doing, Mach 2? Dakota. Tyler B, baby. Brown Tom Crows. Good morning. What up, Tiger Man? How you living, IPOC? What up, Eddie? There you go. Oh, my goodness, Chad. I'm hyped, bro. What about the Twitch? Feed me Seymour. Blizzy B, Sim Race Review, Lizzie, Appster Ames, Cleo, Toy Soldier, Relentless, Wild Boy, Dante, Triple Three, Roach Vince, Payday Devil, The Marketer, Danny V, Blow Window, Pie Guy, and Robo Hand Tech, baby. Let's go. Let's make it a good Tuesday. Amen, baby. So, that being said, here is Josh AI with the news, and get ready. U.S. stock futures drop in countdown to tariffs. U.S. equity futures fell, hinting at another volatile session on Wall Street as the arrival of tariffs loomed over markets. Gold extended its winning streak. S&P 500 contracts slipped 0.5%, ceding earlier gains. Johnson & Johnson slid 3.5% in pre-market trading after a judge rejected its third attempt to use bankruptcy of one of its units to end baby powder cancer claims. Delta Airlines Inc. and Southwest Airlines Company fell after Jefferies analysts cut their ratings on concern about consumer spending. Europe's stock 600 index gained 0.9% after 4 days of losses. The dollar was steady and 10-year Treasury yield slipped 4 basis points. Gold hit a new record high near $3,150 an ounce. President Donald Trump will announce his reciprocal tariff plan at 3 p.m. on Wednesday at an event in the White House Rose Garden, but the extent of his levies remain unclear. There's also confusion around whether the U.S. president will take a lenient or harder tack, making investors wary of risky stock bets. Investors are grappling with what could be announced this week, said Laura Cooper, global investment strategist at Nuveen. The range of outcomes is so wide that traders are struggling with how to price in that potential outcome. The president has touted his April 2nd announcement as a liberation day, heralding the start of a more protectionist policy meant as retribution against trading partners he has long accused of ripping off the U.S. Trump has already placed levies on Canada, Mexico, and China, the U.S.'s three largest trading partners, as well as automobiles, steel, and aluminum. Import taxes on copper could come within several weeks. He has also threatened duties on pharmaceutical, semiconductor, and lumber imports. Many fear Trump's announcement will mark the start of lengthy and fractious negotiations with trade partners, pressuring the economy and keeping market volatility elevated. On Tuesday, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the bloc is prepared to retaliate if reciprocal tariffs are imposed. We could get another period of potential negotiations, which is just going to prolong this uncertainty and underpin further choppy price action, Nuveen's Cooper said. Goldman Sachs Group Inc. strategists cited a weaker growth outlook as a reason to cut their forecast for Europe's stock 600, following a similar move from the U.S. team. The team led by Sharon Bell trimmed the 12-month target on the index to 570 points from 580 in bond markets. Euro area borrowing costs fell as data showed inflation easing toward the European Central Bank's target, providing further support for an interest rate cut this month. Treasury 10-year yields traded at 3-week lows ahead of an ISM manufacturing print that's expected to show activity slipped into contraction territory in March. Trump backs away from Putin criticism, renews attacks on Ukraine. President Donald Trump dialed back his criticism of Russian President Vladimir Putin and instead accused Ukraine of attempting to renegotiate an economic deal with the U.S. The U.S. leader is in a hurry to get a ceasefire agreement over the line in time to mark his 100 days in power. His frustration at the process saw him lash out at Putin over the weekend, but on Monday, Trump had turned his ire back to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. EU ready strong plan for Trump's global tariff strike. The European Union said it will use a broad range of options to retaliate against the U.S. if President Donald Trump follows through on his threat to impose so-called reciprocal tariffs on the bloc this week. We do not necessarily want to retaliate, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Tuesday. If necessary, we have a strong plan to retaliate and we'll use it. France and other countries have called on trade officials to consider deploying the bloc's anti-coercion instrument, a tool designed to strike back against nations that use trade and economic measures coercively. Such a move could lead to restrictions on trade and services, as well as certain intellectual property rights, foreign direct investment, and access to public procurement. Von der Leyen said that the goal is a negotiated solution. Once the new tariffs are announced, they are expected to enter into force in parallel with additional 25% tariffs on all the cars imported to the U.S. and 25% duties on steel and aluminum imports from global partners. The EU is preparing countermeasures on up to 26 billion euros of U.S. goods over the metals duties. U.S. chip grants in limbo as Lutnick pushes bigger investments. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has signaled he could withhold promised CHIPS Act grants as he pushes companies in line for federal semiconductor subsidies to substantially expand their U.S. projects. According to 8 people familiar with the matter, the Commerce Chief wants firms that won awards from the 2022 CHIPS and Science Act to follow in the footsteps of Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, which recently announced it will invest another $100 billion in U.S. plants on top of a previous $65 billion pledge, the people said. Lutnick's goal is to generate tens of billions of dollars in additional semiconductor investment commitments without increasing the size of federal grants, said the people who asked not to be named, discussing private conversations. U.S. automakers make mad dash to push Trump to temper tariffs. U.S. automakers are making a last-ditch effort to sway the Trump administration on tariffs set to take effect this week, contending that levies on the thousands of parts they source abroad could have catastrophic effects on the industry. Ford Motor Company, General Motors Company and Chrysler parent Stellantis NV are lobbying the administration to exclude certain low-cost car components from the planned tariffs. According to people familiar with the matter, executives have met with the White House, the Commerce Department, and the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative to discuss the exclusion, said the people, who asked not to be identified, revealing internal discussions. Top overnight news: the U.S. plans to extend the 2017 tax cuts, making them permanent and adding Trump's campaign promises like eliminating taxes on tips, overtime pay, and Social Security. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told Fox News, BBG, President Trump signed an executive order establishing the United States Investment Accelerator, which establishes an office within the Department of Commerce meant to facilitate and accelerate investments above USD 1 BLN in the U.S., while the White House said the Investment Accelerator is to administer the CHIPS program office. Trump signed an executive order aimed at protecting fans from exploitative ticket scalping and reforming the U.S. live entertainment ticketing industry, according to Reuters. Republicans could be poised to deal a symbolic blow to President Donald Trump's trade policy, with several GOP senators indicating they plan to join Democrats in a Tuesday vote to block blanket tariffs on Canada, although the bill will probably never become law. Politico-wise, President Trump said that he had settled on a plan for his latest batch of tariffs expected this week, but didn't reveal what he had decided after his economic team struggled to coalesce around a remade U.S. trade strategy. He wants to both raise revenue with tariffs and use them as leverage to get other nations to lower their own duties or make other policy changes. And Boeing BA slows the production of 737 MAX to 31 craft per month, current 38, to keep from derailing the assembly line via air current, further slowing wing production. Eurozone CPI for Mar comes in a bit cooler than anticipated on a core basis, plus 2.4% versus the street plus 2.4% and down from plus 2.6% in Feb, while headline was in line at plus 2.2%, down from plus 2.3% in Feb. BBG. The European Union said it will use a broad range of options to retaliate against the U.S. if President Donald Trump follows through on his threat to impose so-called reciprocal tariffs on the bloc this week. We do not necessarily want to retaliate, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Tuesday. If necessary, we have a strong plan to retaliate and will use it. BBG. China's factory activity expanded at its fastest pace in 4 months in March, buoyed by stronger demand and robust export orders, a private sector survey showed on Tuesday. The Caixin/S&P Global Manufacturing PMI climbed to 51.2 in March from 50.8 in the previous month, surpassing analyst expectations of 51.1. The 50 mark separates growth from contraction. RTRS. China has kicked off large-scale military and Coast Guard exercises around Taiwan, the latest round in Beijing's escalating campaign to assert its claims of sovereignty and suppress the island nation's efforts to preserve its de facto independence. The drills on Tuesday came as Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te seeks to improve military and civilian preparedness for a potential Chinese attack and strengthen society to defend against espionage and other infiltration from China, which last month he called a hostile foreign force. FTT, or China, Japan, and South Korea agreed to jointly respond to U.S. tariffs, a social media account affiliated with Chinese state media said on Monday, an assertion Seoul called somewhat exaggerated, while Tokyo said there was no such discussion. The state media comments came after the three countries held their first economic dialogue in 5 years on Sunday, seeking to facilitate regional trade as the Asian export powers brace against U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. RTRS. RTRS. There's more. S&P futures, they are down by 0.5 Tuesday morning. Comes after U.S. equities finished mostly higher on Monday, reversing some of the earlier pressure that sent the S&P back into correction territory. Defensives outperformed with consumer staples the standout, while financials and energy also fared well. Mag 7 lagged again. Treasuries firmer with the curve flattening. Yields down 1 to 5 basis points. Dollars up by 0.1. Gold is up by 0.5. Bitcoin up by 2.1. And crude is little changed. Markets seem to be in waiting mode for tomorrow's tariff announcement. Trump said that he has settled on a plan, though latest reports continue to highlight multiple options. Some concern about lingering talk of a 20% universal tariff. While this fits with Trump's longstanding desire to restructure global trade, it dampens the potential for negotiations expected to follow the reciprocal levies. Uncertainty surrounding additional sectoral tariffs and other overhang outside of trade. Latest headlines suggest some renewed challenges facing congressional Republicans on reconciliation. Market also gets some higher profile economic data over the next few days amid debate over the extent of spillover from Trump 2.0. Fed speak, another area of focus ahead of Powell on Friday, with no signs central bankers are contemplating any preemptive rate cuts. ISM manufacturing, final manufacturing, jolts job openings and construction spending on the calendar this morning. ISM manufacturing expected to slip back into contraction following 2 straight expansionary readings. Richmond Fed Barkin also scheduled to speak this morning. Barkin said on Monday that the Fed needs confidence before it considers another rate cut. Wednesday brings ADP private payrolls, factory orders, and comments by Fed Kugler, along with Trump's widely anticipated reciprocal tariff announcement. ISM services claims trade balance and highlights on Thursday, along with comments from Fed Jefferson and Cook. Friday brings non-farm and comments from Fed Chair Powell, and Fed Barr Waller also scheduled to speak. Quiet day in terms of corporate news. J&J hit by court rejection of third attempt to use bankruptcy to resolve talc litigation. Boeing reportedly dialed back 737 MAX monthly production following recent ramp due to issue with wing system. BDX in talks with competitors about a sale of its $21 billion life science unit. WBD added a new independent director following activist presser. PVH up big following Q4 beat and Q1 full year 25 guide above street and $500 million ASR. PRGS beat on fiscal Q1 key metrics guided above Q2 and raised full-year EPS guide with takeaways positive on share file. Jefferies downgraded AAL, Delta, and Love, citing soft corporate and consumer sentiment amid macro uncertainty. That was a more. Trump to unveil reciprocals tomorrow. Promises to be very kind to trading partners. White House aides have drafted proposal to impose tariffs on 20% of most U.S. imports. Treasury Bessent says reciprocal tariffs aimed at creating fair trade conditions. Bessent argues American dream is about more than cheap televisions, but inflation-wary consumers might disagree. U.S. officials to review U.S.-China Phase 1 trade deal formulated during Trump's first term in office. Congressional Republicans expressing concern over prolonged trade war and impact on farmers, asking White House for exemptions. Several GOP senators suggest they will join with Democrats in Tuesday vote to block tariffs on Canada. U.S. auto lobby Trump admin to exclude low-cost vehicle parts from tariffs. Trump set to receive findings of trade review that may pave the way for additional U.S. actions against China. Trump set to receive findings. USTR releases report detailing other country trade barriers to U.S. exports. U.S. consumer companies operating in Canada seeing Canadian shoppers opting for local products amid trade tensions. EU says prepare to counter U.S. tariffs with negotiations, but all instruments are on the table for countermeasures. Trump tariffs threaten inflationary supply shock that could last years. China, Japan, South Korea agree to joint response in U.S. tariffs. Japan Prime Minister press case for auto tariff exemption, promises to cushion economic blow with funding support. Tariff fears AI tech scrutiny contribute to the worst quarter for stocks since quarter 3 2022. China's state-owned developers rally on expectations of market share consolidation. Goldman lowers forecast for Euro Stock 600 index due to tariff impact. New York Fed Williams and Fed Barkin continue to push patience amid tariff risk. Fed outreach to companies takes new significance as outlook for growth and inflation gets cloudier on Trump tariffs. Bank of Japan to trim buying of super long bonds for the first time as taper plan begins. ECB officials divided on April rate cut amid tensions and economic uncertainty. RBA on hold sees significant global uncertainties with inflation risk on both sides. PBOC seen cutting RRR as soon as April to counter U.S. tariff seasonal cash demands. OpenAI says they have raised $40 billion, valuing the company at $300 billion. SoftBank sinking loan of $16.5 billion to fund AI investments in U.S. Meta is urging U.S. trade officials to challenge EU fine. TSMC's $100 billion investment pledge light on details, inviting investor skepticism. Tesla sales in France fell 37% last month, worse than the 15% total industry sales. Intel new CEO plans leaner approach to product development. Drug maker stock slump after key FDA official ousted as Trump planned health revamp. Berkshire Hathaway plans to sell yen bonds and increase investment in Japan. J&J bankruptcy bid for talc liabilities was dismissed. Chevron sold a majority stake of East Texas gas assets. Boeing reduced 737 MAX production. Hooters filed for bankruptcy due to changing consumer preferences. Mercedes-Benz is increasing inventory in anticipation of tariffs. China regulators block Panama Canal sale to BlackRock. IMF Managing Director Georgieva says tariffs set to reduce growth but unlikely to trigger recession. China manufacturing activity but other parts contract ahead of Trump tariffs. Japan labor market data unexpectedly softens, though all attention remains on wage growth. BJ Tankin manufacturer confidence falls for the first time in a year amid tariff overhang. South Korean export growth smaller than expected with chip shipments hitting 3-month high. Eurozone inflation eased further towards ECB's target as officials weigh rate cut pause. Eurozone manufacturing sector displayed promising signs of recovery in March. UK factory exports tumble as orders dried up and confidence weighted ahead of Trump tariffs. UK food inflation hits 9-month high as labor forces mounting pressure over living costs. Australia retail sales in February but miss expectations. And again, UK has inflation before Trump and no one says anything. Anyways, White House literally 9-month high. White House eyeing the summer debt ceiling X-date as forcing mechanism to push the one big bill through Congress. Republican deficit hawks in the House concerned about state GOP budget plan, opening door for another delay in drafting reconciliation. Senate Democrats are looking for parliamentarian to block Republicans from using current policy scoring for reconciliation bill. Key U.S. House special elections in Wisconsin and Florida could influence Trump's tariff agenda. Trump hits at potential shift for Elon and Doge. Musk visits CIA to discuss Doge measures. Lutnick signals he may withhold CHIPS Act funding unless companies commit to larger U.S. investment. Top Republican in Congress are dismissing out-of-hand Trump's suggestion of running for a third term. Trump admin launches review in a Harvard anti-Semitism policy that could see up to $9 billion in federal grants frozen. White House weighs executive order fast-tracking permits for deep-sea mining in international water. Trump signs EO to establish office to facilitate and speed up investments of more than $1 billion in the U.S. Harvard Caps Harris poll showed Trump approval rating has dipped slightly just more than 2 months into his second term. Trump urges Putin to negotiate end of Ukraine, backs away from criticism of Russian leader. Ukrainian top diplomat says officials are pressing ahead with U.S. towards an acceptable economic accord. Kremlin said Russia and U.S. studying possible peace settlement in Ukraine, building bilateral ties. U.S. and Denmark to hold first high-level talks with Greenland, a big focus. China launches new military exercise near Taiwan, and Trump plans to visit Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Yalla habibi. So that being said, we got some pre-market movers. There's more. Oh, wow. We got to hurry up. Holy shit. That took forever. Oh, my gosh. So let's run through this real quick. MSTR up 1.8. They got a downgrade. GEV up 1.8. Goldman conviction list. Ulta up 1.5. Goldman upgrade. Crowd 1.2. Steven initiates overweight. Net up 1.1. Goldman conviction list. Newsmax up 22 earnings and IPO. PVH up 15 off earnings. PRGS up 7 off earnings. FWRG up 7. TD Cohen upgrade. Celsius completes acquisition of Alani Nu. They're up 3. SatX up 66. MDA to acquire for $210 and a share. Gate up 61. Merger with De Palma. Top up 25. Expects to file 10Q within 5-day grace period. CSAI is up 28 off earnings. MVST up 11 off earnings. CMPX up 9 to host webcast for data. Cattle up 3.4. Publication 1B clinical trial. AEVA up 3.1. Holder Siberia discloses purchase of 3 million shares. VCSA up 2.6. J&J down 3.7 on bankruptcy news with Talc. GPC down 3.3. Goldman downgrade. Love down 2.5 down by Jeffries downgrade and all the airlines. EKX down 4.7. EE down 3.1. $150 million offering. AXSM down by 2.5. Phase 3 did not meet endpoints. BKD down 1.8. And then CMBM down 40. Delays filing. So I have a lot to show you. I have a lot to go over, but we are a little bit behind. But, dude, it's perfect timing still. Oh, yeah. And here at the Co, baby, before we do anything, before we try to chase a dollar, before we try to enrich ourselves, we must pay homage to a very special group of people that has made a sacrifice that most of us never have and ever will. And I'm talking about the veterans of the United States of America. I'm telling you, I'm very honored by it, but I hope you live this in the same way, man. It really, to be surrounded by so many people who have served this country, to really recognize and be aware of the freedom that we have while all the Europeans hate us right now. And it doesn't matter because People have came before us and they have sacrificed so much. And if we can't honor that, we suck as people. Okay? So I hope all of you take this into real life. Take this everywhere you go. If you have the opportunity to thank and do something nice for the people who have fought for our freedom, you should go and do that. And veterans, if anybody should be getting a long term, if anybody should be getting a crib, it should be you. So let us help, man, and get on it. And at the very least, thank you to you and your families for everything you have given. God bless the veterans, baby. God bless America. And big shout out to anybody else out there giving back to their local communities, all the doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the coaches, the garbage men, anybody making their community run, baby. God bless you and thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Oh, it's game time, baby. Horna. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Happy pre-liberation day. We here, baby. We here. Let's go. Let's have a great one. It's Tuesday. Shout out the vets, baby. For real. Thank y'all for everything. So let's have a good one. We got to move on over, baby. I got a couple of plays. I hope you watched yesterday's watch list. I think there was a lot on there. So at the end of the day, though, we should have a lot of activity, a lot of rumors. Let's make it a good one. Let's make it count. Get that long term, baby. But time to go to Gen Pop. I will see you guys there. Thank you for the morning, and let's get it, baby. Good morning. Bye.